Okay, we're going to be bench shifting a NV4500 5-speed transmission. Today we've got the shift cap off of it. We're going to show you how to run it through the gears. We're going to use an electric drill as the engine with a 27 millimeter socket, 12 point that we kind of just tapped on to the input shaft, kind of give it a nice little bite. And right now we're in neutral because we're going to be holding the output shaft with a drift punch right there, and we're going to run it. We're going to show you what neutral looks like. So this is going to be turning in the direction of engine rotation right here, and you can see in neutral the gears that turn. Now we're in neutral because all three of our synchronizers are not engaging any of the gears on the main shaft to the main shaft. So these gears are spinning freely on the main shaft, which is connected, of course, to the output right here. Now the input gear right here will spin the cluster gear, which is down here. And the cluster gear, of course, will spin these gears, but these gears are not attached to the main shaft, which is the output shaft, and that's why you have neutral. You can see the cluster gear spinning, which is spinning the gears on the main shaft. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and shift it into first gear, which is basically moving it right here. It takes two hands, so hold on a second. Okay, this is first gear right here. Alright, we're going to move our drift punch from the back so we can get our output shaft to turn. Okay, this will be first gear. So basically we've locked this gear to the main shaft, or otherwise known as the output shaft. And you can see the rotation of the input shaft, and you can see the rotation now of the output shaft. Look at the speed of the input shaft versus the speed of the output shaft, and that's first gear. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and shift it to second gear, which is basically moving the slide back this way in the second. All right, that'll be second gear now, which is locking this gear to the output shaft or the main shaft. We'll just call it the output shaft going forward here. Alright, now you can see, of course, the output shaft now is turning a little bit faster than it was before. So now we're in second gear. Alright, now we'll go ahead and try third gear. We'll move this one back in neutral, and third gear is this one right here, going to here. Same thing. So now we've locked this gear to the output shaft right here. And now, of course, you can see our output shaft is turning even faster now. That's third gear. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and shift to fourth. Basically, it's moving this one up to the gear right here. Now, fourth gear is basically all you're doing is connecting the input shaft to the output shaft and getting a 1-to-1 ratio here in fourth gear. And that's all we did just now by moving the synchronizer, is we connected this gear to the output shaft. So the input shaft and the output shaft will spin at the same speed now for fourth gear. That's fourth gear. 1-to-1 ratio there. Okay, now we'll go to fifth gear. So we'll go back and move our 3/4 synchro back into the neutral position. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and move it into fifth gear now. That's fifth, which engages the gear back here in the tail housing. Now what will happen is the output shaft will actually spin faster than the input shaft because we're in like an overdrive. You can see how fast the output shaft's spinning now as compared to the input shaft. That's fifth gear. Okay, last but not least, we're going to go backwards now. We're going to put it in reverse. So at this point right here, take our fifth gear assembly, put it back in neutral, and then we'll move our assembly right here, and we'll lock this gear right here. We'll lock in this gear to the main shaft. And now, of course, this output shaft should spin backwards at a reduction rate to the input shaft. There's our input shaft rotation, and there's our output shaft rotation. Okay, and then of course we'll put it back in neutral position. With all of our synchros in neutral position, then we just turn basically the input shaft with the cluster gear, and of course we're turning the main gears on the output shaft that are not locked into the output shaft because the synchronizers are all in neutral. Alright, so there we go. That's how you bench shift these things. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Have a blessed day. This is a socket I use to hook to the input shaft. It's 27 millimeter 12 point, and just takes a little love tap it on there, but it kind of grabs the splines pretty good, and as you can see, it doesn't do any damage to them to turn it.